Hello everybody, and welcome back to How to Build a B-1 Bomber. Guess what? That seam turned out good, so y'all's going to see this video. It turned out nice and flush. That was a pretty neat trick. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bondo this seam. It ain't going to take much, but that was that big old void that was there, and that was a little void that was there. That is a different kind of bondo. I'm going to go over that with you in a minute. But I put some of my thin tape back over these panel lines so I don't fill them up. I don't want to have to go redo all these panel lines. There's a couple in the front. There ain't very many. But I'm going to fill that seam. But first I'm going to show you the bondo I'm using. I'll give you a close-up of this seam. See, it turned out awesome back here. The other side is just like that. Then the front's good, but right here it was overlapped. It was not an 1/8 inch, but good 1/16. And then I would have had to bring my filler way down here and cover up all my panel lines. So I just decided to split it. And my mixture of baking soda works real good, and it got in the crack and filled it, and it's nice and flush now and ready to fill. And this is just some more of my tape so I don't fill up my panel lines. Now we're going to go over the bondo. This, I don't use very much of this. This is just regular body putty. It's real thick, real coarse. In comparison, it's like this 60 grit sandpaper. It's good for big areas, but it don't feather very well, and it's harder to work with, and I just don't like it very well. I don't use very much of that at all. And this is like a glaze, self-leveling glazing compound. They sell it at O'Reilly's. That's where I get it. But it takes a hardener just like that. It's just like regular bondo, but it's thinner, and it feathers out better, and it flows. I mean, take your spreader, and it flows really nice, and kind of levels out a little bit. Sand's really nice. That's pretty nice stuff. But for my final stuff, I use this glazing putty. This is even finer. I get this at the auto parts store, and it just looks like that red glazing putty that air dries, but this actually's got a hardener with it too. It's like $6 for this little thing. I get it at O'Reilly's AutoZone, and it's a really fine. This stuff feathers out to nothing. Sand's really good, and it takes the same kind of hardener as regular bondo, but it's just thinner, and it's like a finer grit. Like this here, glazing putty, I'm going to compare that to like 220. This is like 60 grit. This is rough stuff. I mean, that's for big stuff, big holes, big waves, you know. And this is more like 1,000 grit. This is a really fine stuff. It flows and really feathers out nice. But this is what I'm going to use on my seam. I filled my voids with this glazing putty here. This is Dynamax self-leveling glaze. I get it at O'Reilly's. It's like $10–15. This is more expensive, but it's a finer grade. I mean, it's real fine. And I'll show you how it works. Oh, and one more use for these old magazines. I mix my bondo on it. I mix it on a sheet, and when that sheet's done, I tear it off and got a whole other thing. Works pretty good. But y'all just going to have to sit tight here for a minute while I get my bondo ready. I'll set the camera up, so talk amongst yourselves. Pick a topic, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now you see, I didn't use very much. It's just got a little dab there. Then I just put a little dab of hardener on my spreader. Don't take much at all. Just little bits. You know, and then once I get this on, I'll just hit it with some 220 real lightly, and I'll take used 220. Because used 220 is like 400, you know, and you can use that paper a long, long ways. And try and get all the extra off we can. That just means sanding. There we go. That's all there is to it. That's probably all the filling I'll need to do. I'll just clean this off. So that's probably all the filling I'll actually need to do. I might have to come in and just hit some little spots. But now what I'll come in and do is I'll hit it kind of lightly with some used 220, and then I'll pull my tape off, and then I'll break out like the 800 and just barely go over them seams, just enough to get any ridges off, knock it all down flush, and hit that with some primer, and you'll never see it. Now that I've saved my panel lines, you won't even be able to know where that thing is. So, I hope you enjoyed that little episode, and once I get to rolling on something else, I'll give you guys a holler. Dad's got my nose gear just about complete, so I think what we're going to do next is I'm going to make my bulkheads for this and get that nose gear mounted, and so we kind of get this stage pretty much done. I got that bulkhead fit in the back, and it fits perfect, nice and tight. It fits real tight. We'll get a super good glue joint, and I'll go in with some glass and some carbon fiber maybe on the back side, and maybe a couple gussets, and really sturdy that dude up. We don't want that going nowhere. But hope you enjoyed this little seam fixing episode, and we will see you guys in the shop.